Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Maxwell?
Yes.
Battle?
Here.
Riccelli? Durbin?
Here.
King?
Here.
Ronnie?
Here.
West
Here. Thank you. Mayor's comments. Interestingly enough, we have sort of a light agenda this evening, and I don't expect to be in here more than a half an hour. But I've allocated 2 hours, so if anybody has anything they want to talk about, we're probably only going to have one period of public comment this evening, so if you have anything you want to talk about, then make sure that you do that during the public comment, which is coming up right now. So if you have a public comment to make about anything, please come up to the podium and state your name and where you live and keep it to 3 minutes. So does anybody have any public comments? Okay.
Jen Cap, 8 North Platte. I am here tonight in support of the discussion and action item, the T-bid budget. Amy is president. She is loaded with information, and I am a past president. So it's been without the formation of T-bid, our Chamber of Commerce would not be qualified as a CBB. Hugely important we continue with our T-bid collections, this independent marketing assessment that is used, and it's collected by lodging only. So I am here for historical questions, should you have any, about the formation, the history, and in support of approving the T-bid budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Are there any more public comments? Any more public comment? Are there any public comments online? Last call for public comments. All right, we'll move on. Old business, events update. Okay. Let me tell you what's going on with the events update. So, it seems like, it would be logical to, we've kind of addressed a lot of the events applications, and everything is pretty much set, ready to go. It's made a lot of council members consider what's on the application and what would be more helpful to have on the application. One of the things that was implemented from the forum that was last fall is there was a general consensus that people wanted some friendly signage about things, and so we have some noise ordinance signs coming that MDOT is going to be putting up on the entrance signs. So hopefully we can get some of the motorcycles toned down a little bit in a friendly sort of fashion. So we'll see how that works. And then this is the first year, I believe, that we don't have Glory participating in a lot of the summer activities. And so, we're going to kind of see how those are going to go, because maybe there'll be some spots where the city needs to step up and fill in something that maybe Glory did, and there's a spot there or something, but we need to pay attention for that. We've had some conversations about camping in various little discussions about maybe opening it up in one of the city-owned areas, since we attract all these people who come in their RVs, and then we really don't have anywhere for them to park, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're going to continue to look at that. And then, we've got this Renaissance Fair that's coming. And the rodeo grounds is pretty much working with them, and we're keeping our ears open. I know Chief Srock has talked to the organizers, but we don't know how that's going to go or what kinds of things we need to do to make it better next year. So we're keeping an eye on all those things that summer, and then we'll, you know, if you guys have anything that you want to offer to improve on these events, or anything that you see that maybe we missed, then we want to hear about it. So please, you know, don't hesitate to send us a note, call your ward representative, call my office, call Lonnie, call Jim. But, you know, it's all about making things better. So that's pretty much it for events. But we'll be talking more about events and the actual application and what we're going to do about it, maybe later in August, sometime early September. So stay tuned and you know, stay in touch. And then the use of city-owned land permit has been withdrawn and for this moment in time. And then the next thing on new business is to approve the T-bid budget. It's up for discussion and action. So is there somebody that wants to introduce that, or I can introduce it,
Or do you just need a motion?
we can do a motion?
I'm moved to approve the T-bid budget.
Second.
And we can discuss.
All right, so we'll have a little discussion now, and Teresa, do you have anything you want?
Well,
to say?
I know last year we had a really good presentation. I'd be interested in hearing from, maybe it was Amy or someone that would like to introduce the work that's been represented and what we're looking at.
Do you folks have?
Not big old folder. Might need some information.
Might have some information. My name is Amy Ewer. I live in Red Lodge. I'm the president of Red Lodge Tourist Business Improvement District, as well as owner and operating partner in AAA Red Lodge Rentals. So there are some of you that are unfamiliar with T-bid, I think. So T-bid is a self-imposed assessment fee on the lodging facilities within the Red Lodge city limits. It is a $2 a night fee per occupied unit. That fee then goes into a fund that is used for the purpose of aiding tourism promotion and marketing of the district. I have a few examples. I only have one copy of each, but if you guys want to see some of the print advertising that we've done, I have those as examples. That's one aspect that T-bid does, is marketing. We do print, digital. We also sponsor different events as well. And from events like the stroll to the, now I'm blanking. Ski touring, the flowers and fireworks. We also have recently passed to help fund one of the final stages of wayfinding. We also are in the works of one of our typical guides is we distribute annually about 75,000 copies of the Fairview Highway Map. And we are currently working on our newest one. This is a mock-up, but this is a destination management flyer that we will be working with the chamber on. Happy trails, tread lightly, some reminders to be good stewards of the land. This will also be included in our vacation planners, so they'll be mailed out prior to people coming, which kind of lines up with what your event committee is doing. So I would like to throw in that if any general public can come to that, I would love to be involved in that discussion as well. And I'm sorry that our budget didn't have a header on it. So our typical plan, our board met for several hours to go over past expenses and new upcoming expenses, and kind of lined out what our year would look like in our funding. Was there any items on the budget that anyone had any questions on?
Mayor?
Yes.
So Amy, I wondered, I know before COVID hit, there was discussion about T-bid focusing on spending more money on bringing conferences in, and that would have been obviously a waste during that period of time. Is there a focus on that effort again now?
So there has been excited. We have moved forward and our website should be done within a couple of months. Creative Design Works can speak more to the end date of that, but there was definitely a delay. We do have funds from past collections that are flagged to pay for that website when it's done. It is very close. And that's one of the things that when TBID in 2019 went from $1 collection to $2 collection, that we wanted to be able to have extra money at the end of the year to save for larger things. With the wayfinding, we did the $15,000 out of the current year's budget, but we have also put $30,000 earmarked to help finish out that project out of previous collected funds. Because those are things that the TBID thinks are really important in helping tourism find where to go, what to do while they are here. And it also helps kind of lessen stress on town too, if they know where to park. So.
I just was gonna say, I saw the preliminary website and it's pretty neat. It's called Meet Me in Red Lodge. And it has different pages for weddings and conferences and all the fun things that you can do. So it's gonna be pretty cool. And I think it'll hopefully help get people want to come here for their destination weddings or for their conferences. And
One of our main goals in making that was making it easy for the people that plan those events to find the resources that they need to make Red Lodge appealing, to have those conferences, which typically happen off-season and midweek.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Amy? Terry?
Yeah, so Amy, I talked a little bit before, so thank you for kind of bringing me up to speed. So could you talk a little bit about what your plans are for the excess funds that you have in the budget this year?
So currently they will roll into the fund that we have of the excess, and we don't have anything currently for a large project because we take a lot of time to try and develop the ideas, and also looking for the correct opportunity to put them in place. Besides finishing out the website and the wayfinding currently, we don't have anything in mind for the large chunk. We did have to budget a little bit differently on our agency fee this year. You can see there's a huge change in that. Our agency is retiring, which they help build the ads. So we will be working in cooperation with Billings, TBID, and others across the state to find out what they're doing. We may need to go through another RFP process if we choose to go with a solo agent, or we might work with the chamber and do kind of an a la carte per ad. But that's something that we really need to focus on this year and figure out who's going to help us create that marketing. So.
Any further questions for Amy? More questions? Thank you very much.
And if anyone needs anything in the interim, you can always contact me. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Any more discussion about the TBID budget? Are you ready for a roll call? Roll call?
Battle? Yes. Durbin?
Yes.
Eaton?
Yes.
Ronnie? Yes. Whistler?
Yes.
Thank you. Next up on the agenda is Resolution 3606, the resolution to establish the selection process for marijuana businesses. So because we now have 2 available dispensary licenses, and because we anticipate receiving multiple applications for those licenses, the resolution for the selection process is to award those licenses. The first item on the resolution is that the city will use a weighted application, giving more weight to certain criteria so that the selection committee can do their best to ensure that the 2 initial dispensaries are the very best of the applicants for Red Lodge. The resolution requires the city to include a minimum of 3 council members and 1 city representative. I'm requesting that all 6 of the council members and the city planner complete the scoring sheet. Each of the council members and the city planning director has put a lot of work into the zoning document, and they're best equipped to select the license recipients. These applications will be scored by each member of the selection committee, and the highest score will indicate who will receive the city licenses. With regards to the timeline, The application period will be noticed in the Carbon County News as beginning tomorrow, May 25th, and extending through June 9th. No application will receive priority for the date or time received. That application is included in the resolution is included in the packet. And the application is pretty much a standard application with, the planner has come up with a lot of the questions on how it will be weighted. They're basically questions like, are you a resident of Carbon County? Have you had any infractions with your license? What's your proximity to churches? It's pretty basic, but the idea is to get the very best fit for our community. So with that, I would like to open it up for discussion, and Terry, we can start with you this
Well,
time.
I think first I'll make a motion.
Okay, thanks. Let's have a motion. Thank you.
Approve, resolution number 3606. A second.
All right, Terry, do you have any comments?
No, I've kind of talked to you a little bit about it. I think it's a sound way to go about this, and I like the fact that we're all going to be voting on it and have an opportunity to voice our opinions, so I support it.
Jody, do you have any comments?
Just what I said earlier, I guess, that it's not a majority of Red Lodge City Council to approve the resolution. We require 4 yes votes. So
Thank you.
there's no question about that. And then, yeah, I agree. I would really like for all 6 city council people to be involved in this election.
Thank you. And one of the questions that has come up a couple times is, do we get to talk about the questions? The problem with that is that we can talk about the questions forever and never agree on one. We'll end up with a 20-page document. We're trying to stick to a regular business license application with additional information that, is specific to Red Lodge and, the best fit for the community. So, I left it up to the city planner because she's looked at a lot of different applications. And so that's kind of how, and the other thing is a timeliness thing because, there's a lot of people who are, I'm guessing it's fewer than 10, but maybe more than 5. But given how many vacant buildings there are in the community, I think there's a lot of people that are wondering about how long they have to wait, what kind of lease arrangements can they make that are temporary, because nobody really knows who's going to get the licenses. So we wanted to kind of shorten the time period out of respect for those people. So that's kind of how it came about. Jen, did you have any comments?
Just a couple of process questions. Where is the application located?
The application will be emailed to any applicants. There will be hard copies in the office tomorrow morning.
So an applicant needs to email Lonnie or the city hall in some way,
Or call
First.
them.
or
Yes.
call.
Mhm.
Okay,
But they will be available, but I think it's still fairly fresh.
okay. And the instructions on how we're rating them, where are they located?
They will be attached to the application with each of the criteria and how many points to award
And when are we getting those?
when the application is submitted.
So is the intention, the date ends, so it's the 25th through the 9th for collecting applications.
Yes,
I'm assuming that's ending just before the next council meeting?
I haven't looked at that.
Okay, so
It's
I
not-
guess what I want to be clear on is how much time are we going to have with our instructions for how to wait in the applications before we need to be here ready to?
And we left that off because there's a chance that some council members might not want to complete one.
Okay.
I don't know what council members are gonna say, but typically on a business license, it's not a time-oriented thing. And so, I think that when the applications are received, that the council people can look, and Courtney can look at them with, due diligence. I don't have any doubts in my mind about council's ability to review them and get them back in a timely fashion, a week or so. And I'm not real worried about that. And then the office will get in touch with the recipients and those others who have applied as soon as possible after that's done.
And then are the instructions for us on how we weight them going to be provided to the public or the applicant?
It's all on the application.
It's all on the application, it's all one thing?
It's very straightforward.
Okay,
It's
got
just
it.
like a
Perfect,
RFP for, like, when we do an RFP for
Yep.
engineering. or-
understand. Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Kelly, do you have any questions?
No, just, you said the application period ends on the 9th, is that correct?
Yes.
And then the next council meeting is the 14th, just for your,
Oh, thank
as a
you.
note.
And, I mean, typically we don't, when someone applies for a business license, we don't typically report it to council. We're trying to treat this as a business, not as a special category beyond the obvious things that are special, but it's not a public spectacle, it's a business license. And so we're trying to treat it with the same respect we would treat any business license. So it's not going to be a secret, at all, but it's also not going to be something that we're going to discuss at every meeting. So that's the background on that.
I don't have any other further comments. I think it's a good plan.
Teresa, do you have any comments?
I have some reservations.
Well, let's talk about them.
Yeah, so, I mean, the reason we're in a bit of a quagmire around events is that application was set down by who knows. I want to make sure we're not running along a parallel track in history here, where we're creating an application that is insufficient or needs to be changed again, where we'd have to have another resolution to change it. And heaven forbid we do that midstream while everybody's trying to sort stuff out and get going here. I can trust, yes, I know that Courtney's probably done an excellent job at researching what those weighted criteria look like. It would have been nice to have seen that and the application as we're approving the resolution for that purpose. I just want to feel comfortable with it and understand that this is not going to create some type of an issue that was not foreseen and that now we're running through again. You can't change the application without an additional resolution after the fact, is what I thought, but I could be wrong. We don't have our city attorney on, do we?
Denison and Courtney are both available.
Okay.
I would just ask that.
Hello.
So, Denison, do you have something? Why am I echoing? Denison, either speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm just available if anybody had any questions, just Mayor.
Thank you, Denison. Can you mute? Making an echo. Thank you. Okay,
You want me to pose the question, Denison?
well, let me just, let you know, part of our thoughts on part of this issue that you're speaking of is that, we don't expect for this to happen again where we have, two licenses to award. But you're right in that it will be, maybe not for two, but it could be for one, because we don't know. So in that regard, you're correct. We can get Courtney's stuff. Courtney?
I'm here.
You're here.
So how I understand it is that you don't need a resolution to establish the actual application. It's just to establish the process. So we can create the application as we see necessary. But I don't think we need a resolution if we need to change it. Is how I understood it after I talked to Denison.
Could we get Denison's opinion on that? Because I was told that in order to change our use of city-owned land application, we had to have something in a resolution first.
Denison, did you hear Teresa just now?
I did. Mayor and members of the City Council, the way the resolution is written is there wouldn't be a need to redo the resolution if the application needed to be redone. The way the resolution is written is that the application will be drafted by the city and put out there to all parties.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and thank you, Dennis. I have one other question.
Yes.
If you don't mind. Number 3, a selection committee shall consist at a minimum of 3 council members and 1 city representative. If we're going to see it anyway, who is this selection committee among city council?
I that the selection committee will be all of city council and Courtney.
Not as this reads.
Well, a minimum of 3, but for the purpose of these initial licenses, I would like, because council is the one that determines the zoning and everything, and I think council has worked on this hard, and they all should have a say in who gets these licenses. And so I broadened that to 6 for this particular period.
At a minimum.
And we're covered by our bylaws anyway, so I think it's okay then.
I just have one other comment. If they should happen to apply in the north to south entrance, it seems to me, if I remember correctly, that was a conditional use, in which case then the application would in fact have to go to planning board.
Correct. Dennison, would you like to speak on that? Or Courtney?
Absolutely, Mayor. Mayor, members of the city council, the application is only for the license. It doesn't excuse them or allow them to go through anything other than the established process. They would still have to abide by the planning board and any conditional uses that are established to the planning board and also the city council.
Thank you.
And Courtney, do you have anything you'd like to add? Any further things?
So I guess the only thing I would really add on is some of the businesses that I've talked to, if they're looking at properties, we ask about what properties that they're considering on the application. And then I think some of the businesses, it's part of their agreement, if they have a property, that if it has to go through a conditional use, that their agreement is contingent upon approval by the planning board.
Thank you. Does that answer
Yes.
your concerns? Is there any more questions or comments from council? All right, are you ready for a roll call? Okay.
Battles?
Yes.
Durbin?
Yes.
Whedon?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Whistler?
Yes.
All right, working council items. Are there any items that, Teresa, or Terry, sorry.
You did that last time.
I know I did, that's okay.
I take it as a compliment. So I just wanted to, again, just tell people that we started the chats with city council. The next one's going to be after our next city council meeting, the following Thursday on June 16th. And so far, I'll be there. Kelly and Jen will also be hosting these. So we hope you can come join us. And that'll be either at 9 o'clock at Cattail Bakery or at the Pollard Hotel at 5 to 6:30. And we've had a little bit of a trouble with people turning out for that one, so we might change it to be the Coffee Roasters, but I'll be sure and let everybody know at the next city council meeting if we change location. So.
Does anyone else have any more working council items about their departments or their projects or anything they're working on, or any kind of letters that they would like input from or anything like that? All right, well, this is one of our lighter meetings, I'm delighted to say. And so we've got some correspondence that's attached to the agenda from past meetings. And please read them so you'll have a good idea of what we read every week. And I don't have anything else to comment on, so we'll adjourn. All right?
I'm ready to adjourn.
All right. Second. Thank you for coming.